His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, in order for us to find a calm mind, we need a map of our emotions. This is a simple but not an easy goal. Our mind and heart have a myriad of emotions running through them. The same trigger or situation can lead us to respond differently depending upon the emotion we feel, whether it is anger, fear, disgust, sadness, or enjoyment. A big hello to everyone and welcome to our very first podcast at Jupiter Learning. My name is Sandhya Parnandi and I'm going to talk about something which is becoming more and more relevant in today's world of artificial intelligence. We're going to talk about the opposite spectrum of technology, emotions. Yes, our topic today is emotional intelligence. The emotional brain responds to an event more quickly than the thinking brain. It is not the smartest people who are the most successful or the most fulfilled in life. You probably know people who are academically brilliant and yet are socially inept and unsuccessful at work or in their personal relationships. Intellectual ability or IQ isn't enough on its own to achieve success in life. We all have our emotional triggers that make us react. The crazy driver on the road, the loud neighbor, the sloppy colleague, or the perpetually late friend. The art of cultivating emotional intelligence begins with understanding our emotions. So, this may be a good time to take a pause, grab a notepad, and list down what blows your gasket. We all have certain self beliefs that evoke different emotions in our mind. But these emotions have consequences, and these consequences become the self barriers we create in our work and relationships. For example, if we believe that we display our emotions to others, they might think of us as vulnerable or use those emotions against us. The consequence is that we withdraw and isolate ourselves, and this prevents us from their emotional support. This also makes us harsh and self critical towards ourselves. Let's try this out. How about we hit the pause button and list down some of the self limiting beliefs and emotions that you feel you are facing and the consequences those emotions have on your responses. If we look at it, our temperament is made up of tendencies and feelings that are influenced by four major factors: our genetic inheritance, our physical attributes, our life experiences, and lastly, our environmental conditions. Every single stimulus or interaction we receive from our environment invokes a certain emotion within us. These emotions go through our mental filters or blocks to create an interpretation of what we've just received. This interpretation can be influenced by a variety of factors, including our nature and how we have been nurtured, and then comes out a response in the form of a behavior. So, what do you think are some of the major factors that affect your behavior? IQ and EQ exist in tandem and are most effective when they build off one another. So, what does in emotional intelligence affect? It affects your performance at school or work, your physical health, your mental health, your relationships, and your social intelligence. It is important to understand the signs of high and low EQ in yourself and those around you. This is an important tool for creating better responses and managing conflict in both our personal and professional lives. EQ, in fact, is a critical skill for success in the workplace too. Let's look at some scenarios which can be challenging in the workplace. For example, losing a contract or a sale in which you put a lot of effort, negative feedback or criticism from colleagues or supervisors, missed deadlines or deliverables that make us feel as a personal defeat, rejection of ideas or proposals on which you worked hard, which can be very discouraging, unsuccessful career advancements where you get passed over for a promotion or you're not a part of a desired project. All of these lead to a sense of resentment and negativity. So, how do emotionally intelligent people deal with these challenging situations? While being a little complex and somewhat uncertain, emotional intelligence in fact encompasses a central set of competencies that we can build by constantly asking ourselves the right kind of questions about how we perceive ourselves, how do we express ourselves, what are our interpersonal relationships, our decision making process, and our stress management techniques. For a quick in the moment opportunities to enhance your EQ, there are three vital questions you can always ask yourself in a sticky situation. The first one: does this need to be said? The second, does this need to be said by me? And the third, does this need to be said now? If the answer to any of these questions is a no, then you probably should pause for a moment, reflect, and then respond rather than just react instantly. A perfect balance of the heart and the mind is required to achieve a perfect equilibrium in life. We should not let our emotions control our thought process and become overly emotional, nor should we allow the mind to reign supreme and become detached and calculated. So, how can we achieve this so called perfect equilibrium? Some possible action points for you can be developing mindfulness by focusing on the present moment and not let the past dictate our actions. Exercise self restraint while expressing yourself passionately but authentically. Identify your emotional triggers and take control over your emotional state of mind. And lastly, recognize your dominant emotions and understand the impact it has on your communication and interaction with others. Hope this